We are here in the 49ers Museum with one of two of the most recent inductees into the 49ers Hall of Fame, John Taylor, two-time Pro Bowler, three-time Super Bowl champion, was on the NFL All-Decade team in the 1980s. As I say this and looking back at your career, what stands out?
A number of different things stand out. One, that I actually had a career in the NFL because I was always too small. You know what I mean? You're not going to be good enough. You know, according like what Patrick said, you're going to be in that 1%. I didn't even look at it that way because I wasn't a football player. I was a baseball player. That's what I looked at. But I wound up in football.
I want to talk about a story that I just learned about you. You didn't even expect to be drafted into the NFL. Tell me about that.
Well, I remember my senior year at Delaware State, I was, there was a gentleman who was a scout for the 49ers, Neil Smith. He came to Delaware, and I remember him asking me if I wanted to play in the blue-gray game. After playing in that game, I played in the Senior Bowl game, that whole deal. I never anticipated going into the NFL because that wasn't my game. My game was baseball. That's what I always played. That's what I loved. And it just so happened that day of the NFL draft, I'm upstairs asleep because that's the last thing on my mind, that I'm gonna get drafted. And my older brother came up and told me that I got drafted, and I said, okay. And I laid back down and went to sleep because I thought he was lying to me, number one. But then my dad came up and told me, yeah, he's telling you the truth. You just got drafted by San Francisco.
Do you have a favorite memory of playing in the red and gold? If so, what is it?
Yes, I have a couple, actually. Of course, that one is that Monday night game against the Rams. It's so funny because I always said I made the Rams move to St. Louis after that 89 season. I made them move to St. Louis. Now they're back again. But the real game that I remember the most is we were up in Seattle playing Seattle Seahawks at the old Kingdom, and Steve Bono was the quarterback. And we were in the game, we were losing at the time. And I remember Steve Bono hit me with a pass in the end zone. I had caught the touchdown pass and I had relaxed. And he stuck his helmet, the crown of his helmet, straight here in my sternum. And I did a complete somersault in the air, but the ball was hooked into my arm like this. And I come down, I land on the ground, and I get up, and all my teammates are coming to congratulate me, and I come up swinging at people because I had the wind knocked out of me. I couldn't breathe, and everybody's smacking me, that whole deal, and I'm trying to get my breath. That's the game that I'll never forget.
Now, looking at your career and the head coaches you have played for, and you being a wide receiver, is there a play call that was your favorite of your career, you loved?
Slants, any slant pattern. And the reason I love slant pattern is because it started in college at Delaware State. They didn't even know my name. They knew my last name. All they knew me by was JT. And I remember them putting me in there, and on scout team, basically you have a card held up and you do whatever your position is, right? So I go in the scout team and mine was a slant. So I catch the slant pattern, put a move on the DB, go the distance. So I come back and I heard the coach tell my position coach to put me back in there, put me on the opposite side. We're gonna run the same thing. Ran the same thing, I did the same thing, right? Well, the first game that I wound up playing in was against Virginia Union. We were at homecoming, and I'm dressed, I'm on the sideline. You know, we're losing. I'm on the sideline. I'm just happy to be on the sideline, basically, right? So I'm on the sideline, and all of a sudden the coach goes, Taylor, go in. So I go in, and the quarterback at the time, his name was Rod Lester. He comes in the huddle and he goes, hey, Taylor, we're gonna run that slant pattern. I said, works for me, all right? I get up, get to the line of scrimmage, snap the ball. He hits me in stride. I split everybody and score a touchdown. We went homecoming. Get into the NFL, that's my biggest play. 2 slant patterns, 98 yards against the Rams. So the slant's always gonna be my favorite pattern. I didn't mind the getting hit because I felt like this. If you don't catch it, you're going to get hit. So catch it and get hit for a reason. That's the way I looked at it.
I feel like we knew the answer to that question, but it just sounds so much better when you tell the story. But you are one of the receivers to play for both Joe Montana and Steve Young. I want you to give me a little bit of insight of both of these quarterbacks in the huddle.
Yeah, Joe is exactly what they call him, Joe Cool. You know, I mean, prime example is Super Bowl 23. We're in the huddle, we're losing. TV timeout, he's cracking jokes about John Candy on the first row of the bleachers. But it's a true story. John Candy was on the first row of the bleachers, right? We're losing, TV timeout. He comes into the huddle and he's talking about, he goes, let's just do what we got to do and go to hell home. Like that, right? So this is my first Super Bowl. I watched him on TV, but never played him. So I'm sitting in the huddle like this, and all of a sudden, Harris Barton, they used to call him H. Joe goes, yo, H, check out John Candy. And everybody in the huddle turns around and look, and there goes John Candy, right? So, I mean, he was just what they called him, Joe Cool, you know? Steve would get in the huddle, everybody's, I'm open. No, I'm open, man, I'm open. And I used to sit in the huddle, right, and I would be looking in my mind going, now picture this, Ricky Waters, then myself, Jerry Rice, Brent Jones.
It's a dream team right there.
And everybody's open with one ball. You know what I mean? So it was like you go into the huddle and sometimes you really have to say to yourself, pay attention to what's going on. Forget about them saying they're open, you know. Steve's huddle was a little bit more looser than Joe. Joe would come in and just take command of the huddle, you know. This is what we're gonna do type of deal, you know, so. But they both were great quarterbacks.
So you have been a part of 3 Super Bowl teams. I want you to give me one word to describe each of the teams that you were on.
I would say the best word I could say is that we were all scrappers. You know, we all fought for each other. It wasn't just one, you know, we all had each other's back, regardless of what it was. You know, so I would definitely say scrappers.
All right, so I gotta ask you, gotta put you on the spot. Of those 3 Super Bowls, which is your favorite and why?
That's easy. Super Bowl 23. Because how many young kids grow up playing sports and always say, if I make this catch, we win the Super Bowl. If I make this throw, we win the Super Bowl. Or if basketball, if I hit this shot, whatever it is, you know, I can honestly say I lived that, you know. So Super Bowl 23 would definitely have to be my favorite.
You have a number of stories and so many memories that the faithful remember and that we love hearing about, but we are just so excited to have you forever enshrined in the 49ers Hall of Fame. So again, congratulations, and we can't wait for the faithful to be a part of the celebration.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.